How you doing, Sally?
Good. I thought I heard my name. I walked away for a second. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, hey, girl. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Good. It's been a long time no see. It was like, what, yesterday?
I know, like 14 hours or something. Yeah, good times.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hopefully this goes really smooth.
Oh, of course.
Just of course. Which it, Clarence over there, like he's working so hard. I'm trying to figure out if everybody. Let me see if Jason even knows.
You know, you gotta pretend when the camera's on.
I know you work hard. I already know that. I know Sally does. I know she stays on top of her stuff, and so do you, Clarence.
I mean, I try. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I know you do. Trust me. I remember working with you. You was about your business.
Yep.
We try to stay that way.
Mhm.
I want to stay under the radar.
That's what I'm trying to do. It's not working very well.
I'm sure you're fine.
Hi, Carrie.
Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Mission Mentor. Hi, Carrie. I think it's a little delayed, maybe.
How are you, Shalonda?
I'm great. How are you today?
Doing good. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you as well. Another episode of Mission Mentor featuring Jason Frazier. I don't know, Jason, do you have your video on? I don't see him. I thought I just saw him. Come on. Oh, he's muted.
On there.
I'm asking him to unmute because this is all about Jason. We have to listen. We can't hear you if you're muted.
Huh? I'm muted?
Oh, hi, Jason.
Well, hello.
Nice to see you. A long time no see.
I know, it's forever.
Like 10 minutes ago, right?
I know. Sorry, I'm just closing everything so I don't get any notifications.
Yeah, okay.
What do you make?
I don't know if that T-shirt's approved, Eddie.
Absolutely not.
So while you're talking,
yes.
If I sat here and just looked at you,
I wouldn't even, I can ignore
it. Wouldn't even phase her.
It would not phase me at all. It's like, do you guys
would I make you
Eddie?
uncomfortable?
No, you don't.
What happens if I brought Denny over here and he stared at you at the other side?
It'll be a stare down. It'll be a stare down sandwich.
No, we're not staring each other down. We're just looking at you just to see if we can get you.
See if y'all can get me to sweat. I'm in heaven, guys. I just want you to know.
You can't even keep a straight face. That's what's hilarious.
This is the best thing ever I've been through in a long time. I'm not uncomfortable. So, Jason,
All right.
back to your story.
Yeah.
About me.
I don't even need to be here. This is a whole different thing.
Yes, you do need to be here. Yes, you do. It's all about you right now.
Right.
I apologize for the inconvenience ahead of time. So welcome everyone to this great episode of Mission Mentor with Jason Frazier, our Chief Strategy Officer. Yay! He said no autographs, Logan. He said no autographs.
Oh, great. Logan's on here. Jeez.
So, Jason.
Back on the wall then?
I'm sorry. I didn't hear it. Was that Logan?
So you might want to mute everybody until like someone has a question or something.
Yes, Jason.
No, I'm just saying. Especially Logan, or just mute Logan. I mean, that's fine.
That's
Don't
the
mute-
first one.
don't
No
mute
one
me.
wants to hear his
First one
nonsense.
on the list.
We knew he was going to heckle you somewhere.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry. You've been
I thought
muted.
this meeting was about Logan. Who's
Oh, it will be. Don't worry about it, Greg. It's gonna be about Logan. It's gonna be about Logan.
So, Jason, tell us all about yourself. For those of us that haven't had the pleasure of meeting you in person, Your background, what's your story? Who are you? What is-
Yeah. So yeah, okay. So for those of you that don't know anything about me, I am the Chief Strategy Officer here in the EVP of Marketing for EPM. My background, so I was born into the mortgage industry. It's a family business for me. My mom, who recently just retired, she was the president and CEO of one of the oldest mortgage companies in the country, founded in 1887, called Mason McDuffie out of
Oh.
Berkeley, California. I am from California, born and raised. Don't hold that against me. I'm one of the normal ones. Yeah, so born and raised in California, born into the mortgage industry. My mom was actually one of the first female presidents of a mortgage company in the country back in 1980. And so grew into it, always in it. My mom always told me to not join the mortgage industry, to not come into the mortgage industry. So that is a testament to always listen to your mother when she tells you to do something. I did not. No, but I took a different path. I did not join the family company. So law enforcement was actually going to be what I did. So I did ride-alongs all through high school. When I went to school in Eugene, Oregon, home of the Oregon Ducks. So I am a Duck. I went to Lane Community, but then I did my AOJ, which is Administration of Justice at the University of Oregon. I was a reserve officer for the Lane County Sheriff's Department. That was basically what I was going to do. This was in '95. Now, at the time, I was also looking at federal service. And so at the time, the way that you were going to do that was either get a degree, a law degree, accounting, or computer science. Definitely not going to be accounting, because then I'd be like Mike Clark and nobody wants that. So I wasn't going to do that. And law was where I was going. But at the time, this was '95, right? So that's when Microsoft was hitting the scene. That's when everyone was making like $1 million. So I tried the computer. I took computer science as well. And I had a knack for it. It just came very easy to me. I enjoyed it. I knew there would be probably a better work-life balance if I was going to have a family and whatnot. So I thought about all of that stuff. And I just enjoyed it, which is funny because I was an athlete in high school, and I always made fun of people who did computers and stuff like that. Basically the geek that I am today. Not as much as Logan, but pretty close. So I decided to go the computer science route. Had a girlfriend in high school and was kind of like my high school sweetheart. We reconnected. We got pregnant, and I say we because I guess I can't say that she got pregnant, because I guess I have something to do with it apparently. So we got pregnant. So I dropped out and got a job. And then I kind of stayed in the technology realm. I was the youngest hire at Safeco Insurance, which was one of the largest insurance companies at the time back in, was 98? No, 99, somewhere around there. I forget. And then, so I was a system administrator. So shout out to all my IT geeks. These guys have heard the story because when they had the IT summit here, I shared it. I basically held every position you can in the technology tree. I became certified in everything. Microsoft, back then there was Novell, which really doesn't exist anymore. I was an engineer. I was the highest certification you could get, which is a Cisco certified internet expert. And so technology was my thing. I parlayed that into working for CBRE out of San Francisco as a project manager and an integrator. Through that, working on projects, one of our clients happened to be Peter Thiel, who, if you don't know, was the founder of PayPal, partnered with Elon Musk, who I'm sure you have heard of, with Tesla and SpaceX and everything else, was one of our clients. And so I was PMing, or actually I was the assistant PM on that project of moving him from Palo Alto to the financial district in San Francisco. During that time, they were going through he sold PayPal to eBay, and so eBay gave all the engineers and all the IT people extra money to stay during that transition. Now they were supposed to build out the hedge fund for Peter, and so they basically dropped out with like 3 weeks to go. And so he hired me, or went through CBRE because I was helping them on the integration. to basically build out his entire infrastructure in 3 weeks. Now, this is for those of you in IT will understand this, but that's like a 3-month job, and I did it in 3 weeks. I literally slept in the server room. I slept in the office. I didn't go home. Like, I mean, it was pretty crazy. Right now, I'm an idiot because I like that stuff, right? So, do it working and all that other crap. Like that was fun for me. And it was exciting because this, like he was a guy that I knew. Like this was a guy that's, he's a billionaire, right? Like it was just it was just an awesome experience. So we did that. And then he kept my firm on as an integrator, and then he had me consult with other portfolio companies that he had. So I actually decided to go out and started my own consulting firm because I had him as a client, plus all these other portfolio companies. So it was easy for me to just go out on my own. One of those portfolio companies is Palantir, which you guys may or may not have heard of. They do a lot of modeling and actually a lot, NSA, CIA, a lot of, just a lot of fun, cool stuff, right? So I did that as a consultant. I then worked full time for one of his portfolio companies. And then he hired me full time to run technology for his hedge fund, which was in San Francisco, had offices in Geneva and New York. So during that time, got to meet a lot of cool people. If you guys have seen the social network, that movie with Jesse Eisenberg or whatever his name is, you'll actually see some of my work in that movie. And what I say by that is that during any of the scenes where they're talking about depositions of communications and they're reading emails and messages and stuff, that is all the stuff that I got. So I basically worked with a law firm to find all of this communications and put it in for the lawsuit with the Winklevi twins, right? So I got to be part of that little moment in history. So that was kind of cool for me to see that kind of portrayed a little bit in the movie. I knew Sean Parker, who was played by Timberlake in that movie. So Sean Parker was a guy I worked with. Kenny Howery, who's now ambassador to Sweden. So I got to meet and work with a lot of cool people, very, very smart people. Yeah, just it was fun, right? So that was what I did. In 2009, I took a sabbatical because I was literally working like 36 hours straight all the time, 48 hours. When we're trading the Nikkei, that's basically a 24-hour cycle of trading. So you just don't go home. Now, it was a very comfortable life because I could sleep in the office because I had a nice couch, food cater. It was the Silicon Valley, like as you would imagine it. That's kind of the world I came from.
Wow.
2009, needed to take a sabbatical because I was just getting burnt out. And I didn't really need to work, made a good amount of money at the hedge fund. So that lasted for I took like a mini retirement. It lasted about 2 weeks and I got bored out of my mind, playing golf and whatever, which I don't, just I'm not a golfer, just went out and did whatever. So I started consulting and I did some philanthropy work, working for nonprofits, churches, women's battered shelter, just helping them with technology needs, stuff like that. And then my mom said, we're trying to do something different, with our mortgage company. Would you like to come work for the family company? And I did as a consultant for a few months. And then I ended up joining full time as their CIO at the end of 2009, got married as well to my wife, Tiffany, who I'm married to today. We have 2 lovely kids. I have 3 kids all together. The one I told you about when we got pregnant in the beginning, that's Nick Frazier, who actually works for EPM, works with Greg and Ray on the performance and training team. So 3 kids, married to Tiffany. And so I did that for, till 2018 when I decided to go out on my own. Did a lot during the time at Mason McDuffie, did a lot of things. Also, I was the chief strategy officer there as well. I held 3 C-level titles, so CIO, CSO, and CMO during my tenure there. And then I went out on my own and did real estate marketing and mortgage marketing, podcasts. I'm a national speaker, so I've spoken, like Gary Vaynerchuk spoke at his conference, Agent 2021, Housing Wire, a lot of Mortgage Mastermind. So a lot of different conferences and stuff. I like doing the speaking, even though I'm an introvert. I like speaking on very, very introverted. And so I know it's not easy to believe, but I am. And so yeah, doing the speaking was fun because I like training. And I just got like a big rush of, just energy doing that and felt good. And so I did that. 2018, 2019 consulting, do that. I consulted for Home Point, UWM, Caliber, AFR. So those were some of my clients during my consulting days. I connected with Eddie just online a few years ago, met Eddie for the first time at AIM's office in Philadelphia. And that's how I kind of got connected with Eddie. I worked for Cardinal Financial until that was just a boring, soul draining experience. And during that time, I was trying to find a new home, and that's when I had a conversation with Eddie, and then now I'm here.
Amazing. Great job.
I don't know if you want me to go that depth, but that's my story. So that's pretty quick,
That's
right? So like,
amazing.
is that the whole thing, right? So
Frazier, you were on mute for that. Could you repeat that, please?
I would just log off at that point. I would just
You would just log off.
Thank
Well,
you, guys.
we do have a few questions for you in the chat. Let's start with Logan.
Oh my God.
First of all, how dare you? No, I'm just playing. That's what he asked. He says, Logan, you're on here, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully
I'm
he-
on. I'm on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanted to know what's his favorite pizza, and is it pineapple or something?
I hate pineapple on pizza, so he's having fun.
That's your
Which
favorite?
pineapple does not belong on a pizza, by the way, everyone, just so you know.
Not true.
But it's definitely very true, Mike.
No, Mike, you don't think
Oh,
so?
great. Mike's here. Fantastic. Even
yeah.
better.
It's got to have ham,
so-
ham and pineapple. That came up on my call. So with the right combination.
No.
I
Hey,
agree.
Jason, I'm with you, bud.
There we go. Todd's
Keep the
my
fruit
man.
off my pizza.
pineapples? No pineapple with ham? No Hawaiian pizzas? No?
No.
No Hawaiian pizza for me. So I love pineapple, don't get me wrong, but just fruit does not, that's just does not. People do have blackberries too, so I don't know if there's any those
Blackberry?
blackberry on pizza. So I don't know if you pineapple fans are fans of the blackberries too. So
I don't want a salad. I mean, I don't want a fruit pizza.
all right. So what kind other than, let's skip the Logan questions because we know like how good that's for those of you that saw his mission mentor, his questions definitely aren't going to be good. So
Well,
let's
you wanna
pass
know,
on
do
those.
you have your PMP in technology? Do you have
Sorry?
Do you have your PMP in technology?
I do not. I have Project Plus. So that's a great question. Whoever asked that, hats off, who knows what the PMP is. But I have Project Plus, which is CompTIA certification for project management.
And
So-
that's Mike. Do you miss being in a technology role?
I do. And actually, that's why I think that's why I think I've had success on the marketing side is because marketing and technology are very intertwined now. Integration, making systems work, automated messaging, SMS, emails, all that other stuff. So I still get to geek out because I'm working with technology every single day. I look at it as like playing with toys, right? Like to me, it's like being in a toy store every day. Maybe not to the extent that Mark is, but like, it seems like it's very intertwined with technology and marketing. So I do miss the doing the IT every now and then, as silly as it sounds, but it was a good time. It was a good time.
It was a huge part of your life, so I can understand that definitely.
He by the way, he is super engaged and involved in IT. We work very closely together, and Jason's a well of opportunity for me to go to and get information from. So he's
that's
he's
a
always
great
on my
man,
short
guys.
list of people to talk to.
Well, thank you, Mark. Checks in the mail, buddy.
He's waiting, I'm sure. He send it to the right location.
Yep.
Right, Mark.
What other questions we got?
Let's see. What's the best part of your job at EPM?
Oh, geez. I think, the best job or the best part of the job really is it is just going to sound total. I go, oh, it's just the people, right? No, it's the, because everyone says that but it's the culture. And I think it's because of the empowerment that Eddie preaches from on top is having the autonomy and freedom to do what I do, because I am a bit of a disruptor in the industry. I'm not for everybody. I think about things differently. I talk differently than a lot of people when it comes to stuff. A little bit more direct with what I see the shortcomings of the industry and where we need to improve. So I do like the people. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't saying that being facetious, but I mean, I'm just saying it's cliche. Everyone says the people, the culture, but it's really about the freedom and the autonomy that I have. I do enjoy the people that I work with, even Mike and Logan. You know, they're good people to work with. They're fun. I think it's the energy as well. I feel like, you know, it's been a long time since I worked at the hedge fund. And for those of you that watch Billions, I'll tell you like that's pretty spot on what working at a hedge fund is like. I did not do the like the strip club sushi or any of that stuff. I'm just saying the energy and all that other stuff is pretty good. But you know, I like that. There's a lot of energy here, and I like being a part of that. I like to be part of something bigger than just being an okay mortgage lender that happens to be profitable. Right, that's not what was for me, and I think it's having a part in the story that we're writing together as EPM of really truly being able to, like Eddie says, unleash the best version of myself. So that's what I like most.
Do you feel that technology will continue to help the mortgage industry?
Absolutely, when used appropriately, and this is something that I talked to about. Is that one, our industry does not understand what innovation means. They understand what iteration means, which is, you know, changing things up and making bad processes better or whatever. But I truly think technology should be innovating and completely redefining how we do something, whatever that happens to be, a process, whether it's applying for a loan, whether it's underwriting, whether it's processing, closing, shipping, whatever it happens to be. It really should be, you're welcome, Greg. You know, it's you know, it really should be using tech to make things better, not just for us, but for the end consumer. So it's definitely going to play a bigger part. And I think it's look, it's welcome, right? We're in 2021, right? Like, you know, the last decade, the industry's done a great job of commoditizing itself and what we do, and has not done us any favors from the overall leadership standpoint, as a whole. I'm not talking about like here, but like as like, you know, the talking heads. And so technology finally needs to be unleashed and weaponized so that we can survive, right? Because there's a lot of disruption happening.
Right, absolutely. I do agree with that. Do you still do a lot of podcasts?
I do. Christine Beckwith, you some of you may know, we've taken a little hiatus on the mortgage. So I have two podcasts. One that I'm going to be relaunching, and which was called Mortgage Interrupt, and then another one called Mortgage X. Actually, we're one of the top 5 podcasts in the industry, and so we took a little hiatus because we're redefining kind of like, because she's so busy and I've been so busy, it was hard to get on the same page of doing, or sorry, not same page, but same schedule as doing our episodes. So so we have some content that's coming out. So we're actually going to be kind of relaunching into like almost like a season 3 of the Mortgage Exit podcast. But I enjoy doing that a lot.
Okay, that's nice to know. The next question I have is from Dahlia, and she wants to know, you mentioned you are an introvert. How do you overcome any speaking fears or issues you may have?
So it's a great question, because I get that a lot, because I do this a lot. I do speak. In fact, my very first, now you want to hear an introvert nightmare. My first real first speaking gig was, for those of you that, so Inman Connect is basically like one of the Super Bowl events for real estate professionals, right? My very first speaking was on the main stage in Times Square, New York City, in front of 4,500 agents, right?
Wow.
And so yeah, that I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Like, that was bad. Now, a long time ago, I decided that, well, the reason why I got into it is because at my family's company, no one wanted to be out front. No one was really doing any marketing. We didn't have any people like Eddie and others that you know, and Suha, that are out there speaking on stage and doing all the stuff that are known. And so it was kind of up to me to do that. And so because I decided I wanted to do that, I had to find my place to where my passion outweighed my fear. Okay. Right. And so I get nervous, even though I've done this a lot. I mean, like I still get nervous before any time that I talk to a big crowd, right? Because it's just not it's not my normal state to be in, to talk to in front of people. I hated public speaking in high school. I hated it in college. It just wasn't something that I did. But I found that balance to where my passion for what I want to do, and I'm very competitive and I want to be the best at what I do. And so that is what powered me to overcome my fear of speaking in public. But it's still a thing to this day that that I have to, I guess, struggle well with.
And you're doing it well. Good
Well,
job.
thank you. Thank you.
Good job, Jason. Okay, so we have a fill in the blank. We should all try to be blank first, blank second.
That's definitely from someone from my team, and that's so there's we have our core values for EPM, right? Our 4 core.
Right.
But for my team, I also have a certain set of standards that we go by, because I tell my team all of this is that I want my team to set the standard at EPM. I want my team to be the best. It's my competitive nature, right? Not to say that people are worse. I'm just saying, like, it's part of our team spirit is like, I want us to be the best. I want us to execute at a high level. I want us to set the standard, right? And so part of that is one of those standards is different first, better second. And what I mean by that is that whenever we're doing anything or looking to put anything at play, I want it to be different first. Steve Jobs, this was a quote attributed to him. I think it was in a movie or something like that. But he had a quote that was saying that we got to look at our competition and not say that we're going to do it better, but we're going to do it different, right? And it's all part of their whole Think Different campaign. And I really believe that is that in order to stand out, you can't do the same thing as everybody else, right? And that goes back to the commoditization that I talked about earlier. But you have to be different. And so with everything that we do, I want it to be different first and then make that better, right? And because sometimes people will say, hey, different is different, but different is also better. And sometimes you could be really different and not be better. So I really want them to focus on being different. And when they come to design something, when they want to execute on something, when we want to put something in a system and everything else, I want them to think about it differently, and then let's make that better.
I think that's a great concept. Do you have anything to say about that, Mike?
Who cares if he does? Let's just be honest. Mark doesn't want to hear him. He already told me. He just messaged me. Mark's like, please don't let Mike talk again.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Mark. The next question is, what do you see coming down the pipeline for EPM's marketing in the upcoming future?
A lot of good things. So one thing is I started doing these Zoom calls that I'm gonna get back on track with doing a monthly Zoom call. I've had a few coaching sessions for those loan officers that have reached out. Just so you guys also know, I didn't talk about this because I thought I was just droning on too much, but I'm also a marketing coach for next level loan officers. So I have my own coaching group that I'm a part of. We're also partnered with CMA for the loan officers that have taken that with Barry Habib. So you've probably seen some of my fellow coaches with Kellen, KT, Shane, and Sean of that group. And for your loan officers, highly recommend looking at Next Level. No, not a thing, but just it really is a great coaching group. But as is Christine's 2020 vision. So one is more different marketing. Let me put it that way. So I will be putting people in positions to stand out, tips, tactics, also marketing comes to play with it. I think about things different. I think the loan officers that have talked to me know that I do things a little different than what they're used to. So a lot of good things there. Obviously, I'm starting to dive in now to the ECRM about content. Direct to consumer marketing is something that I've ran consumer direct marketing for 2 years prior. I will be bringing that into play here as well to help generate leads. There's a lot of cool things that really a lot of lenders don't do, and this is one of the goes back to what I love about having the freedom and autonomy that Eddie gives me and Phil is to be able to put these things in play because they are different. I will help with creating better relationships with agents. I will help with getting loan officers in positions to stand out and do marketing that nobody else in their market is doing, unless they happen to be, part of Next Level, because we have a lot of originators there that coach. In fact, there's one here. He's a mortgage broker. His name's Alan Christian. Spoke at our Broker Success Summit. But he's a perfect example, and he'll tell you of the stuff that I've taught him how to do, and he's just cleaning up right now in Roswell for it. And so, there's things of that I'll be doing for our loan officers. I want our loan officers to be the best, right? Just like with everything, I want to win. I want the best. I want the loan officers to win and be the best. I could go on. We'll have funnels. There's going to be, web pages and squeeze pages and automate. There's just gonna be a lot of cool stuff that you guys really haven't had access to or done before, along with the coaching. And I'll talk to any loan officer one-on-one. I think, I saw Todd on here earlier. Todd was one of those guys that I talked to about it, and he's putting some stuff in play with some videos and whatnot, how to build a brand, all this stuff. These are the things that I get paid a lot of money to coach one-on-one with loan officers that don't work for us, right? And so you guys have access to all of that stuff for me and all the things that I get paid to do outside of EPM for you. So I highly recommend taking advantage of it. All you have to do is just listen and execute. And if you do that, I promise you, you'll do more deals than what you're doing right now.
A great spiel. Okay, we have one more question I think we have time for. It says, Jason, obviously your favorite industry is the mortgage industry. Do you have a second favorite?
Second favorite industry?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've decided to plant my flag here in the mortgage industry, so I really love it. I would have to say that I don't know if like marketing in itself is an industry. I guess it would be. I would say marketing is something I have obviously a very deep passion for. So that, and then law enforcement would probably be, a close second to that.
Okay. And how does EPM differ from any other company that you've ever worked for or with?
It's definitely the attitude, right? So I like to say that we have a lot of swagger with what we do, which I like, right? And a lot of fun. Like, we just went on a trip, to Texas, and we did an rep down in Miami. It's a fun people, to be around. Not too serious, right? A little fast and loose. I like structure, but at the same time, I like freedom as well. And so I like the fact that we're not so battened down to in certain areas. So I like the fun, right? I like having fun with the people I work with, and I'll joke and not take it too seriously. But here's the thing, is that like this industry, and I'm not telling you guys who's on the call right now, I'm not telling you anything that you don't know already. This industry is not for the weak. It just isn't. It's very stressful. It's very hard. It can be difficult. It could be, pulling hair out. I got gray hair when I started working in the mortgage industry. And look at Mike, what happened to Mike? He lost all his hair. It's just, that's what the industry will do to you. And so it's very stressful, but it's also very rewarding, because it's one of the few industries in the world that when we do our jobs right, that we could be changing the stars or the wealth for an entire generation of a family that weren't homeowners, and and I've seen it, up front and personal, right? The people that grew up single parent, single mom, single dad, growing up in like a crappy apartment and, maybe in a bad area, and then finally dreaming that entire life of being a homeowner. Like this is stickiness. This is stuff that's very real for me. So yes, we could do a lot of things. We could make a lot of money. We could do all those things that businesses are supposed to do. But it's the fact that we get to change people's lives. And that's something, when the days that I have here, because look, just because EPM's probably, no disrespect to my family's company, was probably one of my most favorite mortgage jobs having, is that it's still I could have a frustrating day, right? And I could be pissed off, and because this person didn't do that, or a problem with the loan officer, problem with the broker, what have you. But I always fall back on the fact that when we do come together, we can do great things, for other people, for other humans, right? Not forget about the human part of what we do. So that's why you got to take hold of that.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. When a business of people business. We have one last question, and it's
okay.
Who is one of your personal heroes? And you don't have to say Hank.
Well, it's Hank, obviously. I'll tell you who it's not. It's not Logan. I'll tell you that much. It's definitely not Logan. But it's no. I would say one of my personal heroes. If I'm going to say heroes, right? It depends. In life, it was my father. I lost him at a very young age. My mom, especially my mom. You know, my dad was a hero in certain respects of teaching me for those who don't know. So I'm Native American. My dad was born off the reservation, playing in the dirt, eating squirrel head stew, like no joke. Like that's like how he came up. And so he instilled in me the pride of being a Native American, the pride of how to be, to handle that and the adversity and what you go through, you know, being a Native American and all of that. And then, you know, how, you know, in the short time that we had together, how to be a better person and a better man. And from a business side, my mom is the one why I have the work ethic that I do, who I learned from the best, someone who went through ceilings. My mom started as a receptionist, guys. Like she started as a receptionist and she became, you know, president, CEO and owner of a mortgage company. Right. And so that instilled a lot of pride and work ethic and what it took to get to that certain level. And so from a personal and business standpoint, you know, it was definitely my mom and my dad. From like we're talking about like people you look up to outside of your family group. It's probably going to be Gary Vaynerchuk. I decided, like, I went and saw him, I got a book for his called Crush It, in like 2015 from a friend of mine. I went and saw him speak, blew me away. He stayed afterwards to talk to everybody. And he basically said, hey, this is the time to do it in your industry. And this is your time personally, go all in. And so I did. And had I not had that conversation, I don't think I would be in the position that I was today. And then I think it came full circle when I got invited, you know, by him to speak at his conference. And so getting to meet him, getting to, you know, hang out with him and talk to him and have him remember me when I've seen him a couple times since then. You know, he's definitely one of my heroes.
That's amazing. And I think your time is up, Jason.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope that wasn't too too boring. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a real interesting guy, but
yeah. Anybody have any questions they want to ask verbally before we end the call today?
Thanks, Frazier.
Thank you for doing that. And you know, if mortgage doesn't work out, I think you could do the Micro Machine commercial, because you can talk incredibly fast and you can understand what you're saying.
Perfect.
I heard
I
heard a rumor that Jason is dead, so we're just supposed to say Frazier.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for bringing that up. See, this is how good my team is, right? So if you notice, I like to sit out on the floor with the marketing team as much as possible. And so on the window, you'll see it says Jason RIP. So yes, we have another Jason here, Callan. He's the senior, right? Because he's been here the longest. But I go by Frazier, right? So you're not doing me any disrespect by calling me Frazier. I actually prefer it, I'm not actually a big fan of my first name. My mom knows that. But like, so I've gone by, I have friends that I've had for decades that have no idea that my first name's Jason, right? So like, true story. Just because they were introduced as Frazier, I was introduced to them as Frazier. They called, and then no one's ever corrected them or anything. So I prefer Frazier. You can call me Jason too. I'm just saying, but yes, I go by Frazier, and it also makes things easier since we have multiple Jasons.
Okay, well, thank you, Frazier, for your time and your knowledge. We definitely appreciate you being a part of EPM. You have a great day. Thank you, everybody.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Goodbye.